The question is, identify the use of the following instruments. I'll just enlarge the image a little so that you will be able to identify, or rather, I can talk to you about features that you should notice in these instruments. So what you can see in each of these instruments is, like, if I just enlarge image C for you, there is a hub. After the hub, you see a projection like a needle. Okay. Now the needle is at an angle and it has an opening at the side. So it looks like a side vented needle. However, side vented needles, one thing you need to remember are the hubs do not have a metal cap. But over here there is a metal ring that is there at the end of a side vented needle. Sorry, at the end of this instrument, which is not present in side vented needles. Your side vented needles are completely plastic. Only the needle end is metal. You have a hub, okay, and you have this needle, and the needle is again at an angle, and you have the opening at the side of the needle. Now, why are these side vented needles important is because when you're performing a root canal irrigation procedure using sodium hypochlorite, a side vented needle will throw the irrigant in a lateral direction. It will not push the irrigant in a apico-coronal direction. It will be lateral, and then that lateral will go apical coronal, and the flow apically is lesser than compared to a apically opening needle. And because of this, side vented needles are much more safer to use as it prevents sodium hypochlorite uh, accidents. Okay. Now, safe pro taper files for cleaning and shaping. First of all, pro taper files are not safe ended; they are end cutting instruments. So, they are this entire concept of safe pro taper do not exist. All pro taper instruments are end cutting, and they are also side cutting. So, what you do is you rotate the instrument in a clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, and the dentinal chips get engaged. And when you pull it in the anti-clockwise, it is going to disengage the dentinal shavings, and it's going to take it out. Now the third option is instrument removal system. This could be a possibility, and this is the answer to the question over here. And I will be talking about this in detail to you now. See, the instrument removal system. Why is this important? Is because when you have hand files, that is your stainless steel hand files that we use 2% hand files, 15 to 40, 45 to 80. The advantage of these instruments is when I have or when I'm performing a root canal procedure and my entire files, this is my canal. Okay, the file that I use gets engaged only in one side of the entire canal. So the flutes get engaged in one side of the canal and it gets separated. Now because of this, what happens is when it gets separated only on one side and it comes out, you can easily bypass the instrument because there is so much space that is present over here on the lateral aspect. However, when it comes to uh, rotary instruments, the problem with rotary instruments is that they do not engage only on one side of the canal. They engage in the complete canal and they block the complete canal as a whole. And because of this, what happens is you're unable to bypass or negotiate the file. If you try to bypass the file, first of all, you will be engaging in more dentine laterally, and by engaging the dentine laterally, what you're going to do is you're going to make the root segment, the remaining dentine thickness over there is going to be lesser. As a result, the root thickness over there will be lesser. Now because of this decreased thickness of dentine in that region, what is going to happen is there can be easy perforation that can occur of the root, and that is something that you do not want because that is a secondary nidus for infection, and at the same time you have not been able to clear the inflamed pulpal tissue at the periapical region. So you have specific instruments called as the instrument removal system. What do these do is they help in removal of the instrument from the canal, especially your rotary instruments. Now how do these function is one system is the instrument removal kit, IRS kit, which is like the Maceran kit. What these do is they suppose this is my canal, okay, tapering. My file has been lodged here. So what does this instrument removal kit do is, you drill and in, you create you increase the thickness of the dentine that is removed in the region coronal to the fragment. Now in doing so, the and you go all the way up to the side of the instrument, a part of the side of the instrument. So if this is where my instrument ends in the canal, my uh, instrument removal system will help enlarge the dentine all the way up to here. Now that it has engaged the dentine until here and my instrument is over here, what it does is it uses ultrasonic tips. Basically, these tips are ultrasonic in nature, or you can use even your scalar tip. What you will do with the scalar is you will start creating cavitation or ultrasonic energy in this region around the file. In doing so, what will happen is the file starts rotating in an anti-clockwise direction. By rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, it is able to unscrew itself from the dentine and it comes out. So this is how most of your instrument removal systems work. They cause anti-clockwise motion, and because they cause this anti-clockwise motion, the instrument unwinds from the dentine and it completely gets pushed out of the dentine or of the canal, and it is easy to retrieve it because of that. Now, in addition to that, when you use other, you can do rather when you have these rotary instruments that get engaged in the canal, there is, and suppose you don't have any of these instrument removal kits, what you can do is, this is called as the braiding technique, and this technique can be used even for removal of silver points. What you do is you use 3H files, you braid them together, that is you twist them together, and what you do is basically you place one file on each side of the broken instrument within the canal. After doing that, you twist the three instruments together. So if this is my canal, one H file is here, one H file is here, one H file is here, and this is my engaged instrument. After that, I take all the three H files, I twist them, and I try to pull out. In this, what is happening is, of course, there is going to be loss of dentine, but at the same time, my H files are trying to retrieve the instrument by engaging into the instrument and trying to pull it out. Another system is known as the canal finder system, and these are your ultrasonic tips that I had spoken about. They cause ultrasonic energy or sonic energy, and they cause about anti-clockwise movement of the tip, and they remove the tip. So this canal finder system, what it does is, it has a cross section similar to an H file. You have to place the file right next to your broken instrument, or rather this canal finder system right next to your broken instrument. You go all the way close to it, and it has an up and down motion, as you can see over here, 1 to 2 mm up and down motion. So what it does is it cuts dentine so that the broken instrument gets loose within the canal, and then because it is doing this up and down motion, the instrument starts moving in the canal. As a result, you start slowly pulling up the this canal finder, you start pulling it up, and as a result the instrument also comes out. This is what I was talking about for hand files, where it is engaged only in one part of the canal, and because of that you can use a smaller file and you can try to bypass the canal. Now this kit that you see over here is the Maceran kit. This Maceran kit is important because it causes suction tips. So it causes a suction ended instrument. What happens is, like like I had shown you over here, it engages the file and it causes a suction, and because of the suction, the broken instrument which is engaged in the canal is going to be pulled out, because it is going to create such a force, such a tremendous force, that the instrument is going to be literally pulled into the file system, sorry, the removal system, the Maceran system, and because of that it is able to remove the instrument from the canal. So that is the, like I told you, these are all the different ways to remove broken instruments from the canal. Any of them can be asked to you. So just try to read a little if you want from Cohen as well, just to brush up on whatever I have spoken to you right now.